His wedding ring clicked against the glass as he rinsed a lipstick-smudged wine flute in our sink, and I watched the red stain swirl down the drain like it belonged in my house. He didn't see me in the doorway. He was humming, low, calm, like a man who'd spent the evening being adored and came home still warm from it. He set the flute in the rack and wiped his hands on the same towel I used to dry my face. Then his phone lit up on the counter. Not his usual wallpaper, a blank black screen with one line of text. Thursday, same place, don't wear the ring. He snatched it so fast the screen flashed in my eyes like a camera. He smiled at me too late, like he'd forgotten I existed for half a second. Work thing, he said, already walking past me, already building the lie while I was still tasting the word ring. He kissed my forehead without stopping. His lips were cool. His shirt smelled like someone else's perfume. Sweet, expensive, wrong. I followed him with my eyes, not my feet, because if I moved, he'd know I saw something. He disappeared into the bedroom and the shower started a moment later, loud enough to cover anything. Typing, deleting, calling, praying. I stepped to the counter like it was just cleaning up, like I was just being the wife. The wine flute sat innocent in the rack, one of ours, from our set, but we hadn't opened wine in weeks. My fingers found the rim, sticky, lip gloss sticky, not my shade. I didn't even wear gloss. On the cutting board beside it was a tiny square of paper towel he must have used to wipe something, his thumbprint in mascara black smudge. I kept my breathing even because my body wanted to do the dramatic thing. Collapse, scream, demand. The kind of scene men prepare for. Instead, I opened his jacket that he'd tossed over the chair. I did it like I always did, checking pockets for receipts before washing. Normal, domestic, invisible. My hand closed around a hotel key card. My stomach didn't drop, it sharpened. The card was warm, like it had been in his palm recently, like he'd been holding it on the way home deciding whether to hide it better. I turned it over. The hotel logo was one I knew. Not because we'd stayed there, because it sat downtown, the kind of place couples went when they didn't want neighbors to see them. The shower kept roaring. I could picture him in there, water on his shoulders, rehearsing the version of tonight where he was a good husband. I slid the key card back and took his jacket to the laundry room. In the harsh light, I checked every pocket again, slower. A folded parking receipt, a mint wrapper, a business card from a florist with a name handwritten on the back. Mara, call me when you're alone. My fingers went cold around that card because I knew that handwriting. It wasn't his, it was mine. Not mine like I wrote it. Mine like I recognized it instantly. The loops, the sharp little angles on the M. I'd stared at that exact handwriting on birthday cards and thank you notes and the sticky notes on my fridge for years, my sister's. I stood there holding that card while the washing machine thumped quietly behind me like a heartbeat trying to warn me. Upstairs, the shower shut off. I didn't rush. I didn't cry. I didn't call her or him or anyone. I walked back into the kitchen and picked up my phone like I was checking the weather. My thumb hovered over my sister's name. Instead, I opened my calendar and created a new event on next Thursday. Same place. Don't wear the ring. Then I added one more note under it, for myself only, bring his ring. The next morning he left his ring on the bathroom sink like it was nothing, like it wasn't the only honest thing he'd taken off in months. He whistled while he shaved. He talked about traffic. He asked if I wanted anything from the store. I watched the ring sit there, wet from his hands, a perfect circle that suddenly looked like a trap. When he leaned down to rinse his razor, I slipped the ring into the pocket of my robe. He didn't notice. Of course he didn't. Men who think they're in control stop looking for details. By noon, I was at my sister's place with a grocery bag in my hand, smiling like I'd just stopped by to be sweet. She opened the door in leggings and a messy bun, bare-faced, like she hadn't been the reason my chest felt wired for 24 straight hours. "Hey," she said, and her eyes flicked past me to the hallway, like she expected someone behind me. I stepped inside before she could decide to shut the door. "I brought you oranges," I said, lifting the bag. My voice came out steady. That scared me more than shaking would have. She laughed too loud. "Random." "Yeah," I said, and walked straight to her kitchen. I didn't wait for permission. I didn't need it. Her apartment smelled like vanilla candles and fresh laundry, the kind of clean people do when they're hiding something. On her counter sat 2 wine glasses drying on a towel. My throat tightened, but I didn't touch them. I made myself focus on the stupid oranges. I put them in her fruit bowl like I was auditioning for Normal. "How've you been?" she asked, leaning on the doorway, arms folded. I turned and met her eyes. "Fine. You?" A beat, just one, but it landed heavy. "Fine," she echoed, and her phone buzzed on the counter behind her. She moved toward it too fast, then caught herself and pretended she wasn't moving at all. I smiled. "You getting popular?" "It's work," she said, and I almost laughed because it was the same word he'd used. I took a step closer, close enough to see her pupils jump. "Can I use your bathroom?" I asked. Her shoulders dropped a fraction. "Sure." I didn't go to the bathroom. I walked down her hall like I'd done 100 times growing up, like I belonged there, like I wasn't walking into a crime scene. Her bedroom door was half open. Inside, her bed was made too neatly. The dresser was spotless. But on the nightstand, under a book, was a corner of white paper sticking out. I slid it free with 2 fingers, a hotel receipt. I didn't read the whole thing. I didn't need to. The logo in the corner matched the key card in his jacket pocket. The date was last week. The room was paid for with his credit card, the one we shared. And under guest, her name. My skin went hot, but my hands stayed calm. That was the moment I realized something about myself I didn't know before. I wasn't just hurt, I was strategic. I tucked the receipt back exactly how I found it and walked into the bathroom like I'd actually needed it. I ran the faucet. I stared at my own face in her mirror. My eyes looked the same as always, like a girl who still had a sister. When I walked back out, she was scrolling her phone with a fake smile pinned on. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Totally," I said, and picked up my bag like I was leaving. At the door, I paused, like an afterthought, like a sweet little sisterly moment. "Oh," I said, "next Thursday, do you want to grab dinner? Just us?" Her face froze for half a second. "Next Thursday?" she repeated. "Yeah," I said lightly. "I miss you." She swallowed. "Sure." I leaned in and hugged her, and while my cheek pressed against her hair, I whispered the softest thing I could manage. "Wear something nice." Her body went rigid just for a flicker, so fast she thought I didn't feel it, but I did. I felt everything. That night, when my husband went to bed, I waited until his breathing got heavy. Then I took his phone from the charger. His passcode was still our anniversary. I opened his messages, not searching, not hesitating. One thread sat at the top with no name, just a heart emoji. Inside, a photo loaded. It was my sister's hand on his thigh, and in the corner of the frame, on the seat between them, was the same ring I'd stolen that morning. He'd been practicing leaving it behind. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. Instead of typing, I hit forward, and I sent that photo to myself. On Thursday, he kissed me goodbye like he was heading to the gym, not to a hotel room with my sister. He didn't wear the ring. His finger looked naked, and he kept rubbing it like the skin missed lying. "Late meeting," he said, grabbing his keys. I handed him his lunch bag. "Don't forget to eat." He smiled at me like I was soft. The second the door shut, I pulled the ring from my drawer and slid it onto my own chain necklace, the one I wore under my shirt. It sat against my chest all afternoon like a coin warming on a bruise. I didn't drive downtown early. I didn't stalk him. I didn't do anything that would make me look like the desperate wife in his story. I did my hair, I put on mascara, I chose a dress he liked because men see what they want to see. Then I booked a room at the same hotel, 1 floor above his, under my maiden name. At check-in, the clerk smiled and asked if I was meeting someone. I smiled back. Just myself. The elevator ride up felt too quiet, like the building was holding its breath. In my room, I didn't sit. I didn't pace. I stood by the window and watched the streetlights blink on, one by one, like a countdown. At 8:17, my phone buzzed. A text from my sister. "Dinner ran late. You okay?" My fingers didn't shake when I replied, "All good. Enjoy your night." At 8:22, another buzz. My husband. "Meeting is chaos. Don't wait up." I typed, "Of course. Love you." Then I put my phone face down because I didn't want to see what lying looked like in real time. At 9:03, I walked downstairs, not sneaking, not rushing. Just a woman in a dress, heels clicking like I belonged in the lobby bar. I took a seat with a clear view of the elevators and ordered a glass of wine I wouldn't drink. The bartender tried small talk. I gave him my polite smile and let the ice clink in my glass to answer for me. At 9:19, the elevator dinged. My sister stepped out first. She wore a tight black dress and that vanilla perfume that had been haunting my kitchen. Her hair was curled like she'd spent time on it, like she'd dressed up for something worth stealing. Behind her, my husband walked with his hand on the small of her back, not guiding, claiming. They didn't notice me. They were laughing, her head tipped back, his mouth open, his face bright in a way I hadn't seen at home in years. They walked toward the hallway that led to the rooms. I stood up and followed at a distance that looked accidental. The corridor swallowed their voices. The carpet muted my steps like it was designed for secrets. They stopped at a door. He pulled out a key card. My stomach stayed steady because I'd already burned through the part of me that could be surprised. He opened the door, and right before they went in, my sister turned her head, like she felt something. Her eyes landed on me. Her smile died so fast it was almost funny. My husband turned to see what she was looking at, and his face went blank, like someone had switched him off. For a second we all stood there, him, her, and me in the hotel hallway like a frozen photo. I didn't yell. I didn't ask why. I walked up, slow, and held out my hand. He stared at my palm like it was a weapon. "What are you doing here?" he finally managed, voice thin. I tilted my head. "You told me not to wait up." My sister's lips parted, but no sound came out. Her eyes were glassy, terrified, pleading. I looked at her and smiled like we were back in her kitchen. "Wear something nice," I said again, softly. My husband's throat bobbed. "This isn't—" I cut him off by reaching into my neckline. I pulled the chain out and the ring slid into view, dangling from it like bait. Both of them stared at it. His finger twitched, instinctively reaching for what he'd lost. I let the ring swing once, slow, catching the hallway light. Then I unclasped the chain and dropped the ring into my sister's open hand. It landed with a dull, humiliating weight. She flinched like it burned. I leaned in close enough that only she could hear me. "You can keep it," I whispered. "It suits you." My husband stepped forward, panic rising. "Stop, please, we can talk." I nodded like I agreed. Then I raised my voice, just enough for the couple exiting the elevator behind us to hear. "Room service can bring extra towels," I said brightly. "You'll need them." The stranger's eyes flicked to us, then to the ring in my sister's hand, then to my husband's bare finger. His face went red, not with guilt, with fear of being seen. I took one step back, calm as a cashier. "I already filed the papers," I lied, because the truth was worse. I watched his shoulders collapse on that sentence, watched him realize the story wasn't his anymore. Then I turned and walked away, heels steady, spine straight. I didn't look back until I reached the lobby mirror. In the reflection, my sister was still in the hallway, holding my ring like a dead thing, and my husband was begging her for it.